Sonic Boom, episode 49. Welcome to
Why?
the commentary post show slash podcast, where
Oh,
we discuss the episode at moderate length and go, yay, that was awesome. Alternatively, we go, so, episode 49. Who would like to start?
uh, I mean, it wasn't as bad as Just a Guy, but oh my god, I
It,
think
it wasn't
I didn't
nearly as bad as Just a Guy, but it has the same major problem.
vibe. It
It essentially is Just a Guy Part 2.
this like I think I found the one character I hate more than the Gogobas, and I thought I disliked the villagers, and just because of their behavior. And but in that case, you know, I can be forgiving of them at times because they're all over the place, and sometimes they have good episodes, sometimes they have bad. But this character, this this platypus character, I cannot believe. Just I have never hated a character so much. Just because, for starters, he's so unfunny. There was nothing redeeming about him at all.
Exactly. That's the big thing.
There was
The Gogabas are like, there's something redeemable about the Gogabas because they are this joke and they are terrible, but they are there for a comedic purpose.
yeah.
This guy is designed to be terrible. At that he succeeds, but at the cost of Jesus,
The
you're bringing
episode.
the episode down.
He just ruins the episode so much. The episode was fantastic when it starts, but as soon as he comes in, it's like you just hear nothing but the end of this. Like the whole episode is just him, and just
The episode is fantastic when it starts, and what you realise when he comes into the picture is that the episode's plot of them trying to make them more child friendly has already started, and this character is not actually necessary.
it I just don't like this character at all. It's basically the similar vibes I had. It's not as bad as Just a Guy, like I said, but I get vibes from this because it's an opinion or like a viewpoint about something, about society or
Again.
whatever, that gets shoved down our throat, and we don't hear the end of this through the whole episode. It's even, when I think about it, it's even shoved down our throats even more than Just a Guy, because at least Just a Guy, you had little breathing points where you had the sensitivity bits or whatever, but here it's just an onslaught of it.
Your breathing points were Eggman's B story, but
Yeah.
that was very sparse. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with us, hating the character because the character is designed to be hated. The
Yeah.
problem is that it is just this onslaught, and the bits where they're trying to actually, you know, bend themselves into the character, the role model that he wants them to be, weren't funny enough to justify that much of an arsehole of a character. I mean, there's which in a way makes Sticks's rebellion, much more of a moment. So then, I guess that might be a writing choice, but then Sticks's rebellion is so short. Really,
Stitch's Rebellion was the highlight of the episode for me because it was at that point where I realized this is definitely giving me Just a Guy vibes. Not entirely, because this one had more humor than Just a Guy, but I again had a character that was just basically like, I'm not having none of this, and basically stormed off in a huff, kind of similar to what Sonic did in Just a Guy. And I again openly applaud her because this character just, ugh, I hate this character. I know I'm making a big deal about it, but this character was the episode. And
I think Just a Guy is basically what if everyone thinks who you are is wrong. This
Yeah.
is what if one person thinks that who you are is wrong, which is an
that
oversimplification, but Still.
I think that's another reason why I don't feel like Just the Guy and this episode were exactly the same
No.
because Just the Guy was basically a whole bunch of people ganging up on Sonic. Everyone was ganging up on Sonic in that episode.
Everybody is ganging up on Sonic. Sonic is ganging up back, and it's just a large chain of frustration that then attempts to pretend that it resolved with everybody learning a lesson, but really nobody
It
did.
didn't, no.
Yeah.
And
Here,
there was no lesson learned because Sonic was right and the villagers were wrong.
here, however,
And
there was a
Amy
lesson.
apparently set everything up, but there was no indication of it whatsoever.
Yeah. Here, though, there was
Here, that's not even attempted.
there was act well, there was sort of a lesson learned, sort of.
Lesson one is if you see this character in an episode again, switch it off.
Yeah. The fact, like, I love how Styx basically threw him in a trash can. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was so well deserved and so like because at the end of it, I really just wanted that to happen. I think.
It was sort of symbolic, wasn't it? A symbolic discarding of everything that this guy wanted to be. We will see that character again in some form or another. I just like it would be like it'd be like a tax man or something.
Yeah, but he was absolutely just grating to hear just every 2 seconds whistle or he just says something that wasn't funny or he just says something that just drives down gets driven down your throat and shoved and halfway in I was just like God just go away like
Yeah, I think they really need to stop with the hey, we've got an. I hate to use the phrasing, but hey, we've got an agenda as to what we want to say here. Because it's too much. It's too often.
it shouldn't be the focus of the episode and it shouldn't be shoved down people's throats like it was here.
You know what? We need a term for these episodes as opposed to, and I'm going to call them soapbox episodes. Because
Well, yeah, because it is a soapbox and a political cartoon rather than a story.
yeah. So so this is now the term that we use for these going forward, soapbox episodes, and there's too many of them.
I loved it more in like say, what was the episode of Battle of the Boy Bands? Like there you had a little bit of an agenda there where you're making fun of music, but it wasn't shoved down your throat. It wasn't really,
Yeah.
turned into a serious subject like it had been here. It it was just it was good old fashioned lol. Let's make fun of this.
Also, it
and
even
was
had a
like-
sympathetic. It even had a sympathetic edge to what it was parodying.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
Because in the end, the pop star was also a tool.
yeah, the pop star was also as much a victim of what was going. In fact, the pop star was probably even more of a victim because he was a slave. So, yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? But that's the best example of the soapbox one done
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, like it just saddens me like how similar episode happened again. Even if it wasn't as bad, just the fact that it almost did.
Who did Just a Guy? Who
Um,
wrote Just a Guy?
I don't.
I think that
Yeah,
may have been why two episodes that were very similar got through because they were written by different people.
Eh,
yeah. It's just I don't understand why this guy, the platypus, couldn't be funny, or at the very least, you know, have some quirky one-liners, or something that would make um just something that would make him more appealing, and just not but just an obnoxious like annoying. I don't even know how to describe this guy. Just obnoxious and annoying, and just shoved
I've-
down your throat.
I found Alan Denton's Facebook page for him as a writer, which I've now liked. Sorry, I didn't realise that was there before. Which has a great picture of him, I assume, at Disneyland, pulling the sword out of the stone. In brackets, it says, "Not pictured me pulling the sword out of the stone."
Well, I mean, there were good things about this episode too.
Yes, please. Let's concentrate on some of the good things. Kat, what was good?
What was good? There are some beautiful Knuckles moments in the episode.
Oh yes.
Eggman, twice in the same episode, has a joke about him being a singer or a musician, including in particular the Grammy episode. Did you look at the picture that was underneath his award?
Yes.
So I tried pointing out during the episode, but it looks very similar to a Daft Punk helmet that he's wearing.
But yeah, like I say, he was playing what appeared to be a keytar, which is the coolest musical instrument you can possibly have. So
yes, it is. And I would know. I have an action figure that has a keytar.
Is it Miku?
No, it's Len.
Ah.
Miku
I
just
was
has
at
a
least
stand.
in the ballpark.
You are in the ballpark.
I mean, there more than I can say about Just a Guy. This was actually really, really funny in certain aspects. Like, well, I think it could have been funnier, but it was funnier than Just a Guy had turned out, and there was the moments with Eggman, the moments with Knuckles. Those were hilarious, and then you had Sticks just rebelling, which was absolutely beautiful. Because she was similar to Sonic and Just a Guy, where she was that character where just like I had to applause for, because damn it, that was, oh god, I love this aspect of Sticks. This is a side of Sticks we don't see.
Sticks also decided to actually take a break from the episode so that we didn't have to listen to her be grumbly for a long time. Which is a problem in Just a Guy, where it's just, again, it's two parties screaming at one another.
This was an episode where Sticks really shined. And it was an episode where we saw a side of her that we hadn't before. And it, again, further shows that Sticks is more than just a paranoid badger. She's also rebellious. She's also rebellious. She's like trying to survive. She's a survivor basically, and it really does indicate that Sticks is more than just what people think it is. And you know what? It was brilliantly done. She was the highlight of this episode for me, with Eggman a very, very close second, just on the basis of only his jokes. But there was more humor in this, and that's why I can't say that this episode was horrible, god awful. It wasn't good, but it could have been a lot worse. And I have to at least give it credit for making me laugh more than I was expecting it to, because I was expecting it to be even worse, to be honest. But Six was absolutely amazing in this. She had a high role in this episode. She shockingly saved the day, even, pretty much. And she was basically the audience in this.
Yes, she was me. She was certainly me.
This was Sticks at her best, I think. This is the Sticks I like to see. The side that she isn't just paranoid, she is actually a being with more than just a paranoid personality.
Just right, the end speech from V for Vendetta, where
what?
she's saying that he was me, he was you, he was my mother and my father. Basically, just that, but just replace he with Sticks.
Yeah.
What? Sticks is your
was
mother
me.
and your
Sticks
father?
was you. Sticks was my mother and my father. Sticks was you. Sticks was Edmund Dantes. Just, in that one instant, Sticks. Just does.
Like, not only did she rebel as much as she did, but she even did the one thing I think pretty much everyone wanted to have happen to that platypus by the end of that episode. Just to get rid of him. Because Sticks was the only one that actually did it. Everyone else is just like going along with it, even though that they were getting obviously annoyed. Um, I guess because they didn't want to be rude or anything, but Styx doesn't care. She doesn't like if she feels like that someone is being just annoying as hell and just doesn't want anything to do with them, she will say something. And like I said, that's the kind of person like that's a side of Styx that we haven't seen yet. We saw it a little in Mayor Knuckles, but only because she had a temper tantrum in that. But here, this was a lot more of that, and I really wish we had seen more of it.
Yeah.
This is the Styx I like to see. This is the Styx written well, and Eggman was just hilarious in this. Like,
He really was.
and it's like I said, if it weren't for Eggman and Knuckles' goofiness in this episode, this definitely would be like worse than just a guy potentially. Um, like in terms of humor, they pretty much kept this episode from being just an absolute train wreck. But
So, good news, Alan and Greg. We found an episode that we dislike more than yours.
well, well, I mean, like I think we did find just a guy worse in the Gogobus episode, but
Although,
I mean,
actually, can I just preemptively say to all the people who say we don't understand it? Yeah, we do understand it, and we understand that the character is designed to be hated, but be hated, but not at the expense of just like
shoving it
damaging
down
the
throats.
enjoyment of the episode.
It really would have been better if he was like maybe in the latter half of the episode or something like that. Like, there's a build up where the mayor thinks maybe he wants to hire someone to kind of educate Sonic and how maybe a role model should be like, because they're curious on what it's like because they
Actually,
want
you know
more.
who would have been really good in this role?
Ooh,
Saw.
yeah, Sora would have been a better role in this. Like he would have played a better role because he's not annoying.
But
And
he sort of fits that sort of stuck up, from like Sam the Eagle in the Muppets.
Yeah,
That kind of position that, and I mean, he's like can be anything really. Saw the Eagle. I mean, we've sort of put him as, oh yes, now he's a television guy, television reporter guy, but he could have quite easily gone back to this because it's still like the self-help role. I would have been quite happier actually with the platypus character being more stereotypical actually, because then it would have at least been funny.
yeah.
It's Ugh. Have you got that we don't like it?
Yeah. Like it's like I said, it's not. I hate the character a lot, but the main reason is because, as I said, there's nothing redeeming about him. At least the villagers, as annoying as I feel they may be, at least they have something redeeming about them.
This guy was so annoying he redeemed the villagers.
Yeah.
Which is
Like
impressive.
he redeemed the Gogobas even. Like I thought the
Gogobas
Gogobas, the Gogobas, like we haven't seen them in a long time actually. Now I think
Unless they're
about it,
dead.
but yeah, but
They've been hunted to extinction by the giant robot.
yeah, like the Gogobas, even though they were just they were guilt tripping, that was it. They still seemed to like what the gang did. They still had some a moment or two of humor. And it wasn't. They were the worst characters before this episode, and it was just. But now I just like looking back on it, like hell, I would take the Gogobas over this platypus any day because at least the Gogobas, they had a little bit of charm, they had a little bit of personality, and it was just it's like everything about this platypus character just ugh. And I know we're making a big deal. I know I'm making a big deal about this platypus character, but as I said, he was the episode. This entire episode was basically about him.
What was his the initials of his name again? It was like something.
TB, because you made a joke about tuberculosis.
Oh yeah, TB.
Like
contagious and annoying.
It's like it got to the point where all the other characters couldn't say a single damn thing in this episode without him butting in with his stupid whistle and just being obnoxious. Like, when you get to a point where a character cannot say one thing, and just having this go on and on and on for an entire episode, that's when you've done something wrong. And I'm sorry, but I just don't like this character. I don't like it. I do hope he never returns again. Um,
Should we draw a line under it then?
yeah.
I think not wanting to see him again is partially why I just repeatedly asked for Sticks to eat him.
Yeah, it takes a bit. Actually, last thing, it takes a bit for us to actually pretty much stop the commentary, and we started going into like post show stuff during the episode. I know I certainly did because I just wanted him to go. It was just I wanted him to go so much. I was openly calling for him to go during the episode. That's bad. You know,
Yeah.
if it's derailed, if it's derailed the episode from an enjoyment sense, not good. In other news, but actually my personal highlight is just Mike Pollock sings again. Like I say, we can make our own musical episode. All we've got to do is cut out all the bits of Mike singing, which is what we'll do. Mike Pollock supercut, probably coming at the end of season 1. Anyway,
Yeah, but obviously we didn't like the episode, but it's like I said, I didn't like it, but it definitely had a lot more that was redeemable about it than just a guy. In the aspect of Eggman was hilarious, Knuckles actually had a good one-liner, um, and there was the wall like the platypus wasn't in the first few minutes, and those first few minutes were great. Like, and as I said, that's what I loved most of all. I really don't understand Amy's personality in the show anymore, though.
I don't think they're supposed to.
It's like one episode she's bubbly and cheerful and positive, and then another episode she's sarcastic and just like moody and just seems to dislike every little thing Sonic tries to do or say. Like in this episode at the end where Sonic's just simply stating, what stating we don't need to be role models. That's overrated. I'd rather be myself and edgy and hilarious. And then Amy's just like
the message.
that was Amy that said that though. That like
Oh, sorry.
Sonic said he'd rather be edgy.
yeah.
That's true.
And Amy said, I would rather you just never talk like that again, essentially.
But Styx was the one. Styx was the one who actually did something.
Styx did something. She actually did, to be fair, I think launch the conversation about this or like launch the speech. But Sonic was basically the one Amy was directing that to, and Sonic was the one that technically finished it off by saying like, we don't need to be role models. It's it's not. It's overrated. I'd rather be myself and edgy and hilarious and like that. And Amy just being like, Sonic, you make me puke. And it's just like, he didn't do anything wrong. He's just stating what he felt at the time. Like, why are you such a killjoy? I don't understand why we have like bubbly, positive, goofy Amy in one episode, and then in the next episode it's like Amy's moody and just I don't get it. I think that's the only you can really tell that. I think in Amy's sense, like that's where you see that different writers are writing for the show, because like there's no concrete personality for Amy in this, and it baffles me. But I mean, like I said, on the plus side, this was not as bad as Just a Guy by any means. I do think that. While the episode was bad, I don't think it could have. I think it could have been worse. Especially
it could have been worse.
Yeah, because like Just a Guy, Eggman and Knuckles did not have any one-liners in that at all. There was really the only real joke in that was Sonic in that that cosplaying thing, that person in the cosplay outfit. And odds are, if you had seen the French episode beforehand, you probably got spoiled about it on social media or, from the episodes. But here there was humor. There were more jokes in this. I felt like there was a comedy element in this, and it didn't. I didn't feel like at the end, like just a guy, where like the entire sense of the show was necessarily lost. It felt like I was getting two mixed messages here, rather than just one message being overshadowed by another. And that's what I think was the issue with this episode, was that it was just all over the place, and just it didn't know what it wanted to be, and that character was just so goddamn annoying. Ugh. I'm just. I had a feeling the episode would be. To be fair, we all three of us were like, "Oh boy," when we found out about the synopsis for this episode. But I don't know if it really went the way we expected to. I think it went better than I expected, but even then it was bad. But it was not as bad as I was expecting it to be.
Yeah. Okay, so now that
Anyway.
we've thoroughly buried the thing, stamped
Well,
on it a few times, and then danced and danced atop it,
mostly
shooting guns into the air in celebration.
I.
Let us say
Sorry.
goodbye for now.
I'm sorry.
We're, well, I'm not. Actually,
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry if you're going on in so many tangents there.
Oh, the guys love it. Yeah, the guys. I mean, don't think the team love it, but I think the other community guys love it when we go off on one.
I did.
I like it when I go off on one. So all three of us being really pissed off with this episode is probably going to be fun for them.
I'm not necessarily pissed off. I just know that there is actually a way that you can do this kind of episode. Because
Yeah.
I have now because I am now, between Just a Guy and this episode, seen a show that's actually been able to do it.
They can do it, and I think they're very capable of it. I mean, like I said, Battle of the Boy Bands show that they can have an agenda with
Not an episode in the show. I have seen another show do a story of a protagonist being heavily criticised by another character, and that other character turning out to be totally wrong.
Well, yeah, well, I mean,
And the episode from the other show got it perfect. So now I actually have the standards as to how this can be written.
in my opinion, like I'd say Battle of the Boy Bands was a prime example of how they could have done, like in the sense of Sonic, like how they could have done this agenda and done it better, where it wasn't shoved down our throats, like this was. You know, I think the fact that it was shoved down our throats is what is. I think if it had just been like a few minutes of this, it would have been fine.
You can make the point without it being unrelenting, even within the time limit that you have.
I can only imagine like someone should do a count of like how many times he stops someone, like that character stops someone, just to say something completely overbearing and obnoxious and annoying. It's just something that like he constantly goes on about being a role model and stuff like that, and like I want to know a count of how many times he does that in the episode.
The answer is too many plus one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, time to
Next
go.
episode was better.
Time to go, guys.
Time to go.
So, thank you very much for listening in to us lambast a children's television program.
Well, to be fair, it was mainly me doing that.
Don't be so sure. But yeah, please do. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. If you're on the YouTube video, and if you're not on the YouTube video, go to the YouTube channel and subscribe to that.
Next episode will be better.
Next episode will be much better. Who's it written by, Donny?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Well, it's the final episode that we heard at the Sonic Boom event last year. It's Cabin Fever.
At last.
At long last, we're going to be hearing this fanfic that had been written by Amy.
And after that,
I don't know. I think the episode was counterproductive. I believe it's the name of the 51st episode. We're almost done.
But we are nearly at an end, guys.
We're entering the 50s now.
We're about to go on a long, long journey.
Just It's quite amazing to think there's only 3 more episodes left when you think about it.
Mm.
Because it doesn't feel like it per se, but at the same time, it kind of does.
Anyway,
Time flies when you're commentating.
from myself, from Kat, and from Donnie, we'll see you next time when we'll be going through episode 50. We reach our
Celebrate.
half century, and I don't know.
Time to celebrate. Need a new
In celebration, I don't know. Alan Denton gets to raise his keyboard aloft to the crowd in celebration or something. But yeah, we'll see you then. Bye, guys.
Bye.